San Diego State, finally, they win a football game, the first time in a long time. They obviously had the week off last week, allowed some of the coaches to go out and recruit. I think Hawaii had the bye week as well. And San Diego State, remember, because they played week 0, they get 2 bye weeks, I believe, here in the same month in October. I could be wrong on that, but I think it's 2. I know they get 2 bye weeks. I think it's all in the same month here. Um, they get this win, 41-34 over Hawaii. Um, this was a this was a game that I thought they had control of, but it's also San Diego State, so it's like, do they ever really have control of a game on the road against Hawaii? Um, they did allow some of the big plays. There was a drive. I'm forgetting if it was the first half or the second half, but there was a drive where it was a long pass, and that set up a touchdown for Hawaii. But San Diego State, the big thing here for me was the defense. One, like the takeaways. I think there were 4 forced turnovers from San Diego State. There was, I want to say, a block punt. There was a fumble on a return, which set up San Diego. I mean, they didn't score on that drive, but it set them up in good position. There was obviously the pick six. The pick six came from Deshaun McCune. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing his name right. Probably just botched it. But that was a 70-yard pick six. That made it 17-0. So when I talk about thinking that San Diego State had control of it, I was like, yeah, okay, they should definitely go win this game, probably by multiple scores. But then there was Hawaii coming back. Braden Shager, their quarterback, 427 pass yards, 3 touchdowns. Jalen Maiden, on the other hand, 221 pass yards, 1 touchdown. Both had 1 interception. So, Hawaii, but that was, Hawaii, that's kind of their thing, at least in this game for sure, was that they were a passing team. You look at their rush yards, 24 yards was their leading rusher. Now, San Diego State, they had a couple guys, Cam Davis and then Jalen Maiden, obviously the quarterback. They went 53 yards each. So it's not like either team had this amazing rusher like Boise State had, I want to say, a few weeks ago. Um, it was not that. But, San Diego State, a positive here, obviously, is the win. That's what matters the most. And they were able to come back at the big plays that Hawaii had. If you go look back, if you didn't watch the game, you go look at the highlights, they came back with big plays. Hawaii had some big passes, and I want to say they had a long, let me double check here. I believe they had a long scoring, a long pass. Yeah. 52-yard pass from Braden Shager. That one made it 24-20 Hawaii. Like, big play there. But then Jalen Maiden comes back in the fourth quarter, early on in the fourth quarter, a 69-yard touchdown pass to Mekhi Shaw. Good to see Mekhi Shaw back. San Diego State had been missing him for a little bit there. And then they were able to execute on those short opportunities there when they were in the red zone. They were able to get not just 3 points, but 7 points out of it. Lucky Sutton, 2-yard touchdown run. Armstead had a 1-yard touchdown run. Sutton in the first quarter, he had another 1-yard touchdown run. Now, Jack Browning, he did miss a field goal. That was San Diego State not being able to capitalize on the fumble from the return from Hawaii. I want to say it was in the second half. Might have been the second quarter. Second quarter, yeah. Fumble recovery on a punt return. Got nothing out of it because the offense couldn't get in the end zone. Browning missed the field goal. I was thinking like maybe that was going to be a difference in this game, but it ended up not being. San Diego State, they ended up tacking on here late to make it a 10-point game with a little over 2 minutes left. So that allowed San Diego State a little bit of breathing room. And I know last year, right, they had a lead right late and then they choked it. But it didn't feel like that was going to happen here. Hawaii scored 57-yard field goal with less than a minute left. Like, that's asking a lot of Hawaii to go score a touchdown, not just a field goal, but go go score a touchdown with less than a minute left. So, at the end of the day, San Diego State got a win. That's what they needed to do. Now, you look at the record, 1-2 in conference, 3-4. They lost 4 games in a row. Do they have one good win this season? Maybe Aztecs fans will say this was a good win because they dropped 41 points. But it's not like they had this it's not like it was a big win. They didn't win by multiple possessions. They didn't win by 14 or 3 touchdowns or by 20. That's probably asking for too much from San Diego State. I realize that. But those are the facts. Now, I did see John Schaefer on Twitter. He put out that some fans were saying that this wasn't an entertaining game. I disagree with that. This was an entertaining game. I mean, 41-34. It was back and forth. There were some long plays from San Diego State. There was a pick six. There was big plays from Hawaii. Like, I thought it was a pretty entertaining game. Now, having it start at 8 o'clock, maybe that takes a little bit out of it, and having to stay up late for it. But that's just what it is. You're on the road playing Hawaii. Like, you know what's going to happen there. Um, I look at the bigger games: Boise State, Air Force, UCLA. I'm forgetting one. Oregon State. I'm looking at those games, and it's like, well, there were some problematic things that happened there, so I'm not gonna sit here and be like, San Diego State's back. They're headed definitely, well, they're headed in the right direction because they got a win, obviously. But I'm not saying like, oh, here we go after one win against Hawaii. Like, I'm not gonna do that. After a really good game from the defense, like I gotta give props to the defense for that. But I still want to see a and they dropped 41 points, like, so it's kinda weird for me to sit here and say I wanna see more from San Diego State's offense. I guess I wanna see it more consistently, try to find more of a running game here. Now they capitalize on the opportunities, right? Like 1 yard, 2-yard touchdown runs. They were able to do that. They were able to get in it. But there was one I forget if it was a incomplete pass or a fumble, but Jalen Maiden just, like, dropped back and the ball, I wanna say it slipped out of his hand, but it looked really bad, watching the replay. Like, there's definitely work, and so San Diego State, October 21st, 6 p.m., hosting Nevada, at Snapdragon Stadium. So it's been how long has it been since their last home game? It's been, like, a month, I wanna say. So it'll be good to be back home. I know everyone wants to talk about the crowd and what that's gonna look like. I'm not expecting a huge crowd in any of the games left this season. Like, the big crowds, the opportunities for that, I think those are already gone probably because unless this team, like, wins the rest of their games this season. Even then, I don't even know how big of a crowd it's gonna be. But when you lose 4 games in a row, you start 2-4. You had the UCLA game already, right? Like, that was the opportunity. You had the Boise State game, at home already. Like, those it seems like those were opportunities there. I think they host Fresno State, like, so they could get some good crowds, but you're not gonna see a huge crowd, I don't think, the rest of the year. And part of that is it's on San Diego State. It's on the play that they've had this year. And some fans, like, they just they'd rather probably save their money to go watch Aztec basketball, which I definitely understand. They'd rather go watch that or just watch it at home than go spend money. And I think San Diego State is hurting themselves a little bit as well with the ticket prices and all that. But I want to try to keep this more talking about the team on the field. So it was a good win. Or it was good to get the win. I still think that they could have won by a little bit more, but it was a really good defensive performance, I think. From in terms of like getting turnovers, forcing mistakes from Hawaii, I think they did a good job of that. The pick six, right? So we'll see if they can build on it, right? If they lose next week against Nevada, then what is it really going to mean? It's probably not going to mean a whole lot, right? So we'll see. San Diego State gets the win over Hawaii on the road.